All right, so today we're going to break down the core habits that really draw a line in the sand between weak men and strong men. Let's get right into it.
So, let's kick things off with a pretty big question. What actually makes a man strong? I mean, our culture throws all sorts of ideas at us, right? Is it about how much you can bench press, how big your bank account is, or your title at work? Well, the source material we're digging into today says that's all missing the real point.
And here it is, the big idea. Strength isn't something you're just born with. Nope. It's something you build brick by brick. It's forged in those tiny, everyday choices you make, over and over again. These are the habits that are quietly but surely sculpting the man you're going to be 5 years from now.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the foundation, which is all about mindset. Then, we'll look at the blueprint for putting that mindset into action. After that, we dive into the core, mastering yourself. And finally, we'll talk about how you can take that very first step.
Okay, let's start at the very beginning, the foundation. Because here's the deal. Before anything can change on the outside, the work has to start on the inside. It all kicks off with how a man decides to think.
So the very first habit is all about control. Think about it. When a weak man hits a wall, he immediately looks for something or someone to blame. The system, his boss, just plain bad luck. He's basically just giving away all of his power. But a strong man, he takes ownership. He asks himself, okay, what could I have done better? That simple little question yanks the power to change right back into his own hands. You see, responsibility isn't a burden, it's power.
Okay, next up, let's talk about where your focus is. The weak man is constantly looking outward. He's always asking, do people like me? Do they approve? His whole sense of self is shaky because it depends on what other people think. A strong man, on the other hand, looks inward. He asks a much more powerful question. Am I better than I was yesterday? He gets it. External validation, likes and compliments, that stuff comes and goes. But internal progress, that's permanent. He stops chasing approval and starts chasing genuine progress.
And that leads us right into how we look at failure. For the weak man, failure is like this giant final stop sign. It's proof that he's just not good enough. So he avoids taking risks and quits the second things get tough. A strong man sees failure totally differently. It's not an ending, it's data. Every single mistake is a lesson. Every loss is a chance to get smarter. He knows that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a critical part of the road to get there.
You know, this quote from our source material absolutely nails the essence of a strong mindset. So many people try to build their lives around avoiding anything hard, but strong men get it. Real growth only happens when you step outside your comfort zone, getting up early, having that tough conversation, dragging yourself to the gym when you're wiped. Those moments of discomfort, that's the training ground. That's where discipline and real confidence are built.
All right, that brings us to our next section, the blueprint. Because look, it's not enough to just think differently, right? You have to act differently. This is all about turning that strong mindset into real, tangible daily results.
Look, we all love motivation, right? That feeling is great. But let's be honest, it's a terrible boss. It shows up when it wants. Some days you feel like you can conquer the world, and other days you can't even get off the couch. A weak man's life is run by his mood. A strong man knows this, so he builds systems. He creates routines, schedules, and non-negotiable habits. Suddenly, his progress doesn't depend on how he feels anymore. It depends on the structure he built for himself. Success becomes a result of consistency, not luck.
Now this next one is huge. It's about your most precious resource. And no, it's not money. It's time. You can always make more money, but you can never, ever get back time. Weak men just let it evaporate, scrolling for hours, watching stuff that doesn't matter, complaining. Strong men, they treat their time like gold. Before they spend it, they ask one simple, powerful question. Is this moving my life forward? They get that time is life, and they guard it with everything they've got.
And this right here, this quote says it all. It perfectly captures the idea of quiet execution. We all know those people, right? The ones who are always talking about their grand plans, the business they're going to start, the six-pack they're going to get, but then months go by and nothing. Strong men operate differently. They talk less and do more. While everyone else is busy posting about their goals, they're in the trenches, doing the work. Because at the end of the day, action is the only thing that actually moves the needle.
Okay, so now we get to the final and maybe the most important part of all this, the core. This is where we go beyond just actions and start talking about mastering your inner world.
Sooner or later, life is going to test you. It tests every single one of us.
When that pressure hits, a weak man cracks. He explodes with anger or he panics, and he makes bad decisions fueled by fear. A strong man responds differently. It's not that he doesn't feel emotion. He feels stress, anger, and fear just like anybody else, but he refuses to be controlled by it. He creates just a little bit of space between that feeling and his action. That space gives him the power to choose calm over chaos. See, anyone can react. True strength is choosing your response.
You know, society has this well-paved road for everyone. Go to school, get the job, follow the script. And yeah, it feels safe. A weak man just follows that crowd without a second thought. But a strong man has the courage to stop, look around, and ask a brutally honest question. Is this the life I actually want? And if the answer is no, he doesn't just sit there and complain about it. He starts designing a new one for himself.
And this last habit, honestly, it's the one most guys run from. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. It means you have to look in the mirror and be real with yourself. So many people just fill their lives with noise and distractions to avoid it. But strong men actually carve out time for it. They ask themselves the hard questions. Where am I wasting my time? What habits are holding me back? What are my mistakes? It's not fun, but real growth is impossible without self-awareness. Once you understand yourself, you can start to change yourself.
So, as we bring this all together, the core message is really, really clear. Strength isn't some prize you're born with. It's a choice you make, day after day, through the habits you decide to live by.
So there you have it. We've covered a full framework of 10 powerful habits, from building your mind to mastering your actions, and ultimately forging your character. You have to remember, every strong man you admire today started right where you are now. The only difference is that one day he just decided to get a little bit better, one small habit at a time. And that really brings us to the most important question of all, doesn't it? This isn't about trying to master all 10 things by tomorrow. It's about just taking one step. So as you think about everything we just talked about, which one habit are you going to start working on today? Knowing this stuff is the first step, but taking action, that's what builds a stronger man. The choice is all yours.